Welcome back! So, now you know the legend of the squonk. You are now aware of what a squonk looks like. You have now learned of how to create its understructure as well as its texture and form. Well, now we are going to take all we have learned about this elusive creature and put it all together into one full-fledged squonk drawing. So, won't you draw the squonk with me? So let us start, as we have learned previously, with the understructure, the stick figure. So we'll start with the head, just like that. And then draw the spine going back. And then another circle in the back for the pelvis area. And then another circle just behind the head for the rib cage. And then I'm going to put a notch for the shoulder and the front arm there. Go around the back. Do the same thing in the back. And then I'm going to draw its hind legs. Maybe a little further back than that. And the other one in the back. So then, I'll draw the little sort of socks where the feet will go. These will be filled in by the actual feet and toes in a little while. I'll show you that. And that is it. That is the basic stick figure. Sometimes when I am creating one of these understructured characters, I may take another marker to help with clarification, and I may start to build on top of that so we get the basic form of the front arms there. So we get these kind of cylindrical shapes, like cylinders. And do the same thing back here. And once we move to the big dark lines, the thick black marker, that is when we will sort of unleash and enjoy the wrinkles and the character stuff that really makes up the squonk. It looks like now I'm giving this thing more of an animalistic. Sometimes if you look at animals, they have that sort of raised, what would be their ankle in us, but for them sometimes that's raised, so they essentially just walk on their toes. So it looks like I'm sort of adding something like that to the squonk here. And then a little bit of the back leg there. Much of the back leg will not be seen. Anything that is behind what you see in front. All right. So there we go. I'll do a little bit of outlines of the face. Remember these big sort of puffy cheeks. And then I'll create some lines for where the eyes will go. That's sort of like that. A sort of furrowed, sad brow. Sad eyes. I'll make the brow nice and thick. There we go. And all right, that's not a bad place to start. So if you feel comfortable, you get enough sort of understructure lines going. That is the point when you can start to get a little bit more loose and free, start creating the actual creature itself. I like to start around the head area, and I'm going to start creating these sort of wrinkle patterns on it. So you go over outside of the circle, because remember that's sort of like the skull, so you're going outside of that a bit. Let me bring in the little ear here. Droop down here. There we go. And then big furrow brow there, sad brows. And really just kind of unleash at this point. You know, it actually pays to be loose and to sort of let your wrists do a bit of the work and talking. There we go. These big sad eyes. Big sad eyes. And then the sort of chin down there. I'm giving him sort of like a oh kind of a mouth. All right, so there's that. That's the head. And then, yeah, just start folding some skin lines over top of the back, however you like. Oh, you can add some bumps. So he has those sort of big warts. Really be creative with that. And do not worry about making any mistakes. Remember, the whole point of the squonk is it's sort of an imperfect, sort of a misshapen creature. So any sort of hiccups you might make to this thing will only add to that appeal, really. So there we go. And then start adding some lines for the squonk right there. And right there. All right. All right. And then, actually, I'm going to go up front here. And I'm going to add the toes. Just real simple. Toes. I think I like giving this guy 3 toes. I'm not sure that I've read any real deep discussion about what its feet or toes actually look like, other than it does have toes. But I'm a big fan of adding 3. It's a little simple, and it lets them be sort of thick. So there. I like to space them out a little bit. One way to give them depth, you just sort of, you see I do this little like a U, and then come down around. And then to make it depth, I do like a U and a U, and cover the bottom of the U. And then there's one back there somewhere. There's a bunch of little sort of short U's. You start thinking of these in simple shapes or even letters or numbers. That can help a lot. And then the same back here. I'm going to add these U's for the back toes. Sort of U, and cover the bottom. And then there we go. And then in the back, just a little bit in the back. The further back you go, the smaller your lines can become. So to help it feel like it's further back, keeping that depth in mind. All right. And then start going in and thickening those lines, especially the ones up front, especially lines on the bottoms. Remember, that creates a feeling of weight. Okay. Get this front hand / foot right there, front foot, I guess. There we go. Let me furrow those brows even more. There we go. Going to darken the headlines, really make that sad head and face stand out. That really is a squonk sort of prime feature, right? Sad face. You can add some wrinkles if you'd like. Make them even sadder. Wrinkles up on here on the face. It's really up to you. I like to do some more squiggles on the forehead there. Also, when you're doing it at this, if you're doing like a full body shot, you can be a little simpler with the lines. And then if you were doing just the head real close up, you can add more detail. So let's say if you're doing the same character in a book or a series of panels, so you can control how many of these lines you see depending upon whether it's close or far away. It's like if you see a person from the other side of a football field, you might not get every detail until they're right, as you would when they're right up in front of you, right? So it's much the same here. So this full body version of the squonk helps to keep those details a little bit a little lighter. So there we go. All right. And darken the back a little bit. You can add a little bit of shade if you'd like. You can shade that back leg a little bit to really make it feel like it's underneath of the body. Just darken the lines. Have those lines kind of creep up from the bottom of the creature, making him darker. Adds a sense of mystery to him too. It's like even though you can see it, that's the thing about these folklore creatures and these cryptids. When you only see them at night, when you see pictures of them at night, it is as if they can stand right in front of you and you can see them full force, but you still do not entirely know what you see, and that helps to create a great sort of mysterious monster. All right, let me get stray hair, and I think we are about done. There we go. How is that for a squonk? A full squonk. Have you been following along? How are your squonks? Well, if you would like, you can feel free to share your finished squonks on the Monster Web. There should be a box for it either on that side of me or that side. Go ahead and post your finished squonk drawings there so all the squonks can say hi to one another. So, I hope you have enjoyed this. And next week is the final squonk video. Oh no, what are we ever going to do? We've already drawn the squonk. What do we do? Well, they do not call me Monster D for no reason. Next week, we're going to take this poor squonk and we are going to make it even more monstrous. We are going to grow it and make it a monster unlike it has ever been before, using a very special secret trick. So, come back next week and find out. Until then, thank you for drawing with me and stay monstrous.